One of the most watched videos on Bloomberg in the past 48 hours has been an interview that Yusuf did with Sejwani at Damac. He called for, he said that we have a disaster in overbuilding in Dubai. We're going to face a disaster. Is there a disaster waiting to happen in the commercial property market if you don't stop expanding?
I think the government of Dubai has taken a very important step towards regulating the market and making sure that actually supply and demand are in locked-in steps. And we've seen that with the committee that was formed in order to look at these things. It's very early days. We're going to see how it's going to be implemented. But the reality is that so far,
you've been in those conversations.
This is a conversation that's now ongoing within the SOEs, within government-owned entities, and that is something that came to us as good news because there is obviously a very clear strategy to make sure that Dubai does not overheat from that standpoint.
Sejwani is saying that we need a 1 to 2 year halt, stop building. Do we need that on the commercial side, which is where your expertise is, on the malls? Do we need to stop building malls for a short period of time in Dubai?
Well, you know, building shopping malls is a commercial business. So anyone that's building a mall that with a feasibility that does not stack up should reconsider what they're doing.
Do the feasibility studies that you looked at 2 years ago still stack up?
Well, in our case, as Majid Al Futtaim, our shopping malls are faring very well. And we're very happy with the markets overall in the region. Saudi Arabia is a very important market that's becoming more and more of an opportunity. But even Dubai and the UAE are markets that are today, I would say, in a slowdown. But actually, when you think about number of tourism coming in, you think about the number of brands that are available currently in the UAE, it's the number one in the world. So there is also some good news and some good opportunities there.
Okay, but so you'll be in favour of whatever new regulation comes to bear from the committee?
Absolutely.
You're opening. I didn't get my invitation, by the way, for this.
You always snub our invitation.
Neither did Yusuf. You're opening the biggest Vox cinema here today.
Yes.
Let's get a few numbers out of you. What money are you putting to work here in the Kingdom in Saudi Arabia?
So we have a $4 billion investment strategy for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. These are investments that we are doing in our shopping malls business, in our cinema business, in our Carrefour business, which is our grocery retail business, in our ski slope, leisure entertainment businesses, as well as in our energy management and facilities management businesses. As you know, we've been in the Kingdom for the past 10 years. What's happening in the Kingdom is very encouraging, huge opportunities ahead of us, and we're seeing that in reality. For example, in the cinema business, today we're number one in the Kingdom in our cinema business, as well as in the Middle East. We started about 18 months ago, and we are doing more and more and more, better and better. And most importantly, the Saudi customers are voting with their feet.
How are you finding the average spend of the Saudi customers? What is the momentum behind that? Is it on an upward slope? Is it beginning to flatten? Give me an insight into the Saudi customer that you're transacting with.
So on the cinema side, the Saudi customer actually overspends the regional average by 2 to 3 times. So this is something that's extremely encouraging. But we have to remember, this is a new sector coming in, and this is something that actually is not going to be sustainable on the long term. Today there is a supply that's ramping up, but there is still much more demand than supply in the Kingdom. But this is something that we are dealing with by opening more and more theatres. Okay,
in terms of balancing, I suppose what I want to get a sense of with Majid Al Futtaim, if I have, let's say, a flattish growth in Dubai, maybe even a dip in Dubai versus an acceleration here in Saudi Arabia, are you taking costs out of the business at home in Dubai to balance the book?
Well, I would say 2 things. We're present in about 70 markets in the region.
Right.
So our geographical footprint is across the whole region. We just announced the opening of Uzbekistan for Carrefour yesterday with 7 stores that will open in 2020. Egypt is faring much better than before as on a growth trajectory. The GCC in general has been on a flattish to actually declining trend. Saudi Arabia, huge opportunities that are coming. We've always been very financially disciplined. So we always look at our cost base, we look at our margins, and we make sure that we are always competitive.
We get together every now and then, and we talk about that differential in terms of the product that's available from the very high end to perhaps the more mass market. Where's the next 4 years for you? Is there a balanced portfolio, or is there a change in the skew?
The next 4 years is about doubling down on customer experience and omnichannel. Today we are present across the spectrum. There is more to be done in each and every one of these categories. But the one thing that us and others will have to focus on and to double down is customer experience and more performing and interesting omnichannel experience.